was probably going to lose my person on my other platform there, but that's okay. All right. Well, it looks like we're up. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Sean. Welcome to the stream. I'm going to be modeling, well, rather sculpting, and maybe some modeling. We'll see how things go here as they progress. I got my RPG character here, and he is going to be the main character of my game. He is not finished yet. He's got lots of work to be done, and so I am going to work on him today, getting him in a better physique, and I'm gonna go from there. So cool. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate the live audience. For some reason, the chat is broken on my end, so I'm gonna see if I can get that to work. But there we go. Now I can see the chat. Cool. See. Yeah, if you want to chat live, I can see, and if you have any questions, let me know. But I realized that the face doesn't quite match up with the body. That is fine. It will all work out in the end. It's just a slow and steady progress kind of thing, so it will end up working out. Pretty high density here, but that's okay. All right, let's turn some Dentapo on here. All right. Ooh, we are really cooking right now. Okay. All right, first things first. I need this. Just say this, my machine is not happy with me right now. Yeah. See. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to remesh this. Otherwise, it's gonna be just too much. All right, well, that's better. We'll fix everything else here in a little bit, but at least it's all remeshed, so that's good. Yes. Let's just get this. Oh, you know what? For some reason, this is not working the way that I want it to. We gotta figure out what the deal is here. That's correct. There we go. Now we're cooking. Yeah, okay. There we go. All right. That's what I wanted. Just kind of like melding these two things together. Using it like I would my thumb. All right. Just to kind of get some rough. Okay. And that's quite all right. That's exactly what I want. But I don't want. What I don't want is whatever the heck happened with his lips. I don't know what happened there. Okay, there we go. That seems to have fixed the problem there. The lips are getting better. Alright. Yeah, again, I don't know what happened there, but I'm gonna guess it's probably to do with the symmetry. That's a-okay. Alright, let's just give this a good touch up. Let's give it a... Let's rebuild the BBH here. Alright. Now. Hey, thanks in the comments. I appreciate that. Thank you. Alright. Gotta get this all focused in here. Alright. Shoulders are looking not bad, but they could use some additional tweaking here. I'm not going for super bulky, I'm going for kind of lean. Now, I'm going to show the reference that I'm using right now so that way you can see. This guy here is super duper bulky, and he's like pretty lean too. Like his muscles here are lean, but for my character, I'm going for more of a Link aesthetic, and Link as in Link from the Legend of Zelda, and so that is kind of a little bit much for what I'm going for. So I've got to try and get something a little bit more lean. And the one that I would say, like, I'm gonna show off Link here. So if you look at Link, he definitely, I mean, his shoulders, which granted this is stylized and that's what I'm going for, his shoulders definitely do not come up like that. He's almost got like straight, like, you know, you got this right here, and then it just comes straight up like L, like an L almost. And so that's kind of more what I'm trying to go for. All right. let's do this. Let's take our clay, start building out the shoulders here. Start building this outward. I can start to get an idea of what he's actually going to look like here. Now, one thing that's important is I kind of want him to be in a T pose, so I kind of want to get this out here like this. Make sure that as I'm building it out, and I can always fix this later, but I kind of want the arms to be outspread in a T. Kind of like that. Okay. We've got his arms out like that, out in a T shape. Although now that I think about it, if I have him in a T shape, I'm not really sure that that's probably the wisest idea. Think about this before I go further ahead. At this point, I'm just researching real quick just to make sure that I have this right, because I don't want to create something and go ahead of myself here. If you know in the comments, if you're watching live, let me know. But the question is, if I'm sculpting a 3D character for a video game, do I want them in a T pose, or do I want them where their arms are down? Because I don't really know the answer to that. So this is something that I'm learning new. So the answer is, apparently you sculpt in an A pose, relaxed pose, then you move to a T pose. That way, like a 45 degrees, slightly away from the body, because the armpits and the shoulders topology stay natural and unstretched, so you can actually sculpt the muscle anatomy correctly. The deltoid, pec, and lat transitions look right because the skin isn't pulled tight. You can judge proportions more naturally since humans don't stand in a T, which that's true, yeah. In sculpting, fine details, folds, wrinkles, anatomy, and a T pose distorts how those details will actually read at rest. And that's that lines up with what I was thinking too. Because if you see how the shoulders would how do you know if this is the way that the shoulders should look or not, depending on, the character. Like if I have my shoulders and I can feel here, like my shoulders might not look the same. So, I mean, that's something to consider. All right, so let's do this. Let's just take and try and increase my brush size. Let's see if I can just, no, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to just do this. I mean, the problem is it's gonna make it flat, and that's not what I want. Yeah, it's just making it flat. That's gonna make it harder on me in the end. So, excuse me. I'm gonna go ahead and just use my clay strips, and I'm going to basically act like this is an eraser and just not do that. But yeah. I'm basically subtracting topology at this point. And anytime you do anything in art, you just need a reference always, because if you don't have a reference, your mind plays tricks on you unless you're like a master who's been doing this for forever, like Kim Jung-gi. Like, he's an example of like somebody who's a master at art. Like, he's probably the type of person that could come in here. I mean, not 3D modeling, of course. I don't think that, you know, that's not his medium, but like at drawing, you know, he can come in and just like take a look at something and just boom, just it'll come out and it'll be perfect. That's just the way he's been doing it for so long, so it makes total sense. Now, I don't know what the heck's going on here, but yeah, I think this is going to cause me problems. Whatever is happening there on this side. Really wish I knew what that was about. All right. So, looking at the shoulders. Also, while I'm ranting here, I'm a firm believer in not having. I see a lot of people online. When I watch tutorials, they have their character referenced in the background, like the actual image, like 2D sketch or like a picture. And I think that that's fine. I'm not gonna. I'm not an expert, so like I'm not gonna diss on anybody's style of how they do it. But I would say, in my opinion, I think that people probably should try to learn how to do it without that first, just because I feel that it gives you a little bit better understanding and knowledge of 3D and how it's supposed to work, where shapes are supposed to go, kind of wires up your brain, so that way you understand. Okay, that way you understand. Okay, well this is where the shoulder is supposed to go, and my brain now kind of comprehends that. And this is where the bicep goes, and this is where the tricep goes, and here's where the obliques are. And so I just think that that's something that, me personally, I would rather have that down first. But I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna say anything ill about somebody who might do a better job doing it their own way. So see if I can increase the strength here. I hate when my brush does this. And again, like, this is one problem, is that you run into this. All right, I don't want the arms. Yeah, that's teeny tiny little arms there. at this point, I'm just trying to get things lined up. And that way, and you know, another thing I could do is, to make this easier on myself, is I could just, instead of trying to do this where I'm, I might still do it honestly, because this is gonna drive me crazy. Yeah, I think I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I think I'm gonna do what I did here with the neck and the torso, and I think I'm gonna do his arms that way, because this is gonna be too annoying to deal with. All right. Let's see. That's probably good. I probably could, before I continue with the, with the arms, I probably could just shape up the pectorals a bit here, get them a little bit better looking there. I mean, that's looking much better. And then that's probably pretty good like that. One thing is and I can give more with that later as I want to, and I will. I'm gonna get his face looking better. I'm not super thrilled with it at this point. Like it's getting there, but it's got some work to be done to it. I definitely believe in masculine characters looking masculine, feminine characters looking feminine, and in this case, like I want my male character here to have more of a masculine look, so I've got to do some work on his cheeks and get these a little bit more squared up, and then the jaw as well. I feel that the jaw is going to need some work here, but it's not bad. Yeah, not bad. Let me smooth that out a little bit. Even that's not looking bad there, like that. Like that's definitely giving some more definition, which I like. Not that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm happy with that. That looks pretty nice. I'll do some more with that here in a bit, but I definitely like the transition from the neck, and then I'm gonna do some of this right here. Some of that. Kind of show more of an Adam's apple. Yeah, that's pretty good. You kind of want to do the same thing. Whoa. See, that's one thing I don't like about Dentapo. You know, Dentapo is really nice for when you're trying to get these, you know, these more larger edits here. But as it progresses, we'll have to get some more granular. It's pretty cool. Maybe a little bit better there, like that. That's pretty good. Alright, now, as I was saying before, and I gotta save this just in case Blender decides to crash on me. Let's see. Object mode. Of course, there's one right there. There we go. Well, that should clear that problem up. You see how different the mesh camera is here. I mean, it's like night and day difference, but that can always be resolved. I guess one thing I could do is I could kind of show that for a second. So like, if I look at it here in edit mode, let's just show off like how I could do that. If I take this, and bring this down. I think this would probably make it higher poly, although I don't have the top of one. Oops. Yeah. Okay. Now this should actually make it. Alright, so you saw what it looked like before. Now see how that cleared it up a bit, and then that just kind of brings down that poly count a bit, which can be helpful. And let me see if I can't remember how to do it, where you have the wireframe. Yeah, okay, so this will kind of show a little bit of what I'm talking about. Again, in Topo, you're doing the big edits, you got to make sure that you have that on, or else it's not going to do anything for you. And then you can kind of see how that cleaned that up a bit. But now I can't really see what I changed there, which is why you don't normally want to have this on. But it does make it nice for whenever you've got those, those bigger changes you want to make. Okay. Yeah. Let's do this. All right. So. Think about this. What do I want to do? UV sphere. I think that'd probably be the best thing. And then Do a smear modifier. It's pretty good. Apply that. Well, not quite yet. We'll do a subdivision surface modifier. Bring that up to 2. I guess it really doesn't matter because I'm going to be doing the topo, but I always like to Alright, apply that. We'll apply I want to do the legs too while I'm here. And just get that going. Think about what I want to do here. That's what it was. No. Okay. You gotta figure out, there's this rule for when you want to do height. Eight heads tall. Okay. So let's add a blenders. Not that. Add a cube. Let's take his head size, roughly that size. Alright, that's about right. Alright, let's add an array modifier. Let's go down. It's pretty good. I can see the lines there. So we want to do 8, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What? I mean, I definitely feel like something's off here. What? Okay, so is my cube the wrong size here? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think that that's right, but my proportions, I mean, I'm still learning, you know. That's gonna be some tall legs, man. I mean, so it says 4 to 5 heads for stylized and cartoony, so I'm going for that. So we're gonna take and do. I feel like yeah, like that'd be like yeah. Okay, there we go. I think that'll work. We can even stretch the torso a bit. And I will. I probably will stretch the torso a bit because, you know, just for the way that's going to work. But, alright. This is our, we're gonna name this Stack 'em. And we're gonna just hide them for now. We don't need those. Save it. Alright. This is pretty good for 45 minutes. I'm happy with this so far. Alright. Now, as far as the arms go, I gotta get an idea. Now that I have the legs, arms come down like almost to the middle of the calf, it looks like. Or middle of the thigh, I mean, middle of the thigh. So, gotta get that stretched out a bit more. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I agree. For what it's worth, I agree. So we're getting closer. I'm trying to think here. I'm gonna like stand up because I need to figure out if this is correct or not. You know, like you gotta, when you're doing this. Yeah, I mean, it comes down to right about where you think about if you have pockets. I mean, that makes sense. You kind of want it to be. I feel like that's probably pretty good. And obviously these will get cleaned up, but I just am trying to go for the rough shapes right now. Okay, so now I need to apply my scale, apply all my modifiers. So apply object, apply all transformations. I always do this just to be on the safe side because it's bitten me before. And then these arms are really lanky. I've got to I mean, that'll work. I'll get it built out, honestly. I mean, I'm not, it's just a base, so that's good. And now, got that joined in. That joined in. All right. Bring it up a bit. So it's level with the ground. All right, now I want to apply all transformations. And let's go do some Dintoppo. Let's get this all blended in correctly here. that's much better, because now I've got at least the general shape of things, and that's what I wanted. Oh, you know what I didn't do, though? Because this is going to wreck me. And I don't want that. This is going to really mess me up if I don't do this. So we're gonna do, actually we're gonna do top of it real quick for a second. And I really want to pay close attention to the face because this is the part that I really don't want to get messed up. Now that it's remeshed, everything's all nice and tidy, all neat, all together, and that's beautiful. Exactly what I wanted. Now I can start to meld these things because now they're nice and put together. This is good. All right. Let's see. All right. It's like when you're a kid and you're coloring. It's like the same exact kind of concept. I love it. To do this thing. That'll cause some issues. That's one thing I should have thought about, is that probably have to mask it for a second. I haven't really done that much on this. Right now he's kind of like a Titan. Attack on Titan. This just basically makes it so that way whenever I'm trying to make some changes, I'm actually going through the mesh right now. Because I'm trying to get it just right on that one spot. Which can be quite tricky. Like fighting Blender. I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm just gonna have to undo some things here. Watch, Blender's gonna crash on me here. It's really not happy with me right now. Yeah, I guess this is the moment to talk about my issues with the DRAM shortage and how much I agree with so many people right now. Dave 2D was talking about this in a video, so shout out to Dave 2D. He's a great YouTuber. Been watching him for a very long time, and I'm just very frustrated because you know, this whole situation with the DRAM and how I guess there's like these three broad categories of RAM that they have, and so when you have these different types of RAM, and there's also three, which, you know, let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong or not, because I'm trying to remember from earlier today. But there's three major companies that are left over, and they make all the RAM in the world. And so all these AI companies are taking and saying, hey, like, you know, we want all your RAM. And then the problem is, then computer manufacturers have to raise their prices exponentially. It's like 32 gigabytes of RAM is like $500 right now, and it's like, what do you do if you're just some average Joe who wants to just, you know, have a good computer that runs, and now you've got this whole issue of, you know, you can't get a computer that has solid baselines. It's very frustrating. I mean, this computer has some pretty good specs on it, but like, I really run it into the ground. I mean, I'm sure that other people are struggling even more than I am with if they have a computer that's a few years old. It's not easy right now. And you know, the AI companies, they know what they're doing. You know, they know that they're, you know, they're hurting the consumer, like, because they know that if they have less powerful devices in the hands of the everyday average person, then they will be able to say, well, hey, you know, you can use AI and AI can just do it for you. And it's like, but like, what if you don't want AI to do it for you? I don't want AI to do the sculpting for me. Like, this is the fun part, you know? I want to just be the one to do it. No, I already know how this looks. I know that this is not what I want, just so you know. Like, I'm working on this. I literally spent all that time doing this so that way I wouldn't have to have this issue, and here I am dealing with it anyway. Oh well. This is called You Live and Learn. You live and you learn. Alright, let's get some of this bulk. Whoa, not that. Let's get some of this bulk back up a bit. Not underneath. We're gonna leave that the way it is. I'm gonna leave that little bit of a gap there. We'll come back to that later. I just want to kind of build up some biceps and some triceps here. All right, now. No. There we go. Now we're cooking. I can always fix that later. I'm just trying to get general shapes here at this point. Call him Lanky. I really don't know what the deal is with why it's seeming to subtract rather than add in some areas. Like, that is some bizarre behavior. I do not like that at all. I don't know what happened here. I'm gonna guess. Oh man, what the heck happened? If I had to take a guess, it's probably something to do with normals. I can't remember how to recalculate normals. It's been forever. Rather than doing that, I'm going to actually look it up. Alt-N, that's it. Oh. That's what it is. It's an edit mode. For those watching who do not know much about Blender, basically there's these things called normals, and they just basically mean the outside of the inside. That's really what I was just doing there, just trying to make sure. I think I had flipped normals because of that weirdness that was going on. That's usually the cause of stuff like that, but I could be wrong. It might not be that. It's just seems like the most likely cause, but really don't know. Oh goodness. Face is still looking good. We gotta do some work to these arms. Don't care about that. It's still doing it. I'm wondering if I do negative, if it makes a difference. No, it doesn't matter. I know what the deal is. I know what the problem is. It's because whenever I put this in, there was that shortness up here. I don't know what happened. This has more geometry. This has less geometry, so I'm wondering if I take and I'll do sculpt mode again, and rather than doing clay strips, and well, actually, I could do some clay strips here, and I think that'll make a difference. Yeah, it'll do it different because now I'm not in Dentapo. I'll add some. This is going to be a problem, isn't it? This is going to be a real issue. Wow. I gotta think about how I'm gonna solve for this. I didn't think that I would have an issue with this, but it seems like I was wrong. Especially with the remesh, I really don't know what the deal is here. Well, now Blender's crashing on me. It's really not happy with me. We'll see what happens. At least I saved. If it crashes on me, I think I'm just gonna call it a night because, yep, there we go. Okay, well, Blender is crashing. So that's it for tonight. I will come back to this fresh again and on Wednesday and go from there. So thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. We'll go from we'll get it fixed and going again on Wednesday. So.